and welcome to my kitchen. I'm just preparing Sunday dinner over here on Marsden. Because it's dark outside already. And I'm just about to do some Yorkshire puddings for Neve and I thought I'd take this opportunity to just show you how it is that we make Pampered Chef fat-free Yorkshire puddings. Those of you who've been to a show will obviously have seen this before, and those of you who haven't may be rather amazed. Ordinarily, when you make Yorkshire puddings, you would make them in a metal tin. You would heat some fat up. Some of you are married to beef dripping and vegetable oil and Trex and all those kind of things. You pop them into your tin, you get them into your really hot oven, you wait for the smoke alarm to go off, you wait for the dog's eyes to bleed slightly in the corner. You can no longer see your children because of the black smoke that's filled your kitchen, and you think to yourself, oh, time to put the batter in. Pour the batter in, you get spat at with hot fat, and then you think, well, do you know what, I don't know why I'm bothering. Why don't I just go and buy some Aunt Bessie's and life would be a lot easier? Am I right? Well, what you need is a Pampered Chef 12-cup muffin pan. We're not going to use any fat, and as you can see, I don't have any kind of magic asbestos hands. This is completely cold, and that's what we're going to do. So, you can make any batter you like. As I always say to my guests at the shows, this is just how I make it. There is no need for you to email me. This is just what I do. Now, what you need is, first of all, you need a mixing bowl. I'm going to use the middle one from our stainless mixing bowl set. This is the 4 litre. The 2 litre one sits inside, and this one sits inside the 6 litre one. If you're baking at this time of year, do have a look at the stainless mixing bowl set because they're fabulous. I find them completely indispensable. They have airtight lids. They've got little pourers, so when we do the batter, you'll see they go straight in. They've got something that I would love to have but can't afford. They've got a silicone bottom, which is very useful. And what that will do is that will mean that we don't need to have a massive grip onto the bowl on the work surface. It will have a little stick for us. So that's the first thing that we need. Second thing that we need is a whisk, and I'm going to use our stainless whisk. And what this has, we have a lot of debate as to what these wires are called. I think, so we'll just call them wires for now. What you'll notice is they run that way, and they also run that way, and that means that they will go through a thick batter really easily. We're also going to measure everything out in volume, so we're going to need some measuring cups for that. Those of you who've ever attempted an American recipe off the internet and had it fail disastrously, it may well be because you're using a cup that you would drink your tea out of. A cup is actually an official unit of measurement in America, and so we sell this measuring cup set to enable you to do those recipes. I also use these, you may have seen on my Facebook page my porridge kit. I would include these in that. We use these for porridge. I also use them for measuring rice out, a cup of rice, so half a cup of rice per person. So what is a cup? That is a cup. Not a very big cup if you had a cup of tea out of it, is it? It's the equivalent to 250 mils, or those of you who normally work in old money, it's 8 fluid ounces. Okay. That one's for you, Mum. Now, what you need to do is just measure your volume. We're going to use those. You actually get 6 of them, so you've got a quarter, a half, a third, and so on and so forth. And they are marked in millilitres as well. So if you don't necessarily want the cup measurements, you'll still find them useful when you're measuring in volume, full stop. So, this is how it works. We're going to do a cup of flour. I said this is just my method. You can make any batter you like. You don't need to email me. It's all fine. Right, so 1 cup of flour goes into our bowl. And then we get our milk. And again, we're going to put 1 cup of milk in. Because what we're doing effectively is using equal volumes for this recipe, I'm going to put 3, actually I might do 2 eggs because they're quite big, but I'll do 3 eggs. What you could do is, if you wanted to, you could actually break these into your cup, and then you can see from that the volume. So you've got kind of the same volume of eggs as well if you want. Next, just add a little pinch of salt, okay? I'm going to use salt from my bamboo grinder set. I don't bring these to shows because they live here on my kitchen counter. Bamboo grinder set, lovely. These will make a beautiful gift at Christmas. The stand is inordinately useful because when you put it on the table, you don't lift them up. You don't get those little bits of salt and pepper. It's all contained on the stand, so really, really good. And they're brilliant ceramic bases, so they don't corrode with the salt and pepper. They really are fantastic, fantastic quality. And the acrylic here on the body, and then bamboo on the top, which those of you who are bamboo fans, love these, love these. So a little pinch of salt going in, okay, and now you need to whisk. Now, I've horrified guests at shows by how little effort I put into with my whisking, okay. Essentially, I stir it with the whisk. There really is no need to get your whisk going. I'm afraid it's not going to do your bingo wings any good making Yorkshire puddings my way, I'm afraid. And it really is a lazy cook thing. People are very scared of Yorkshire puddings. Done the Pampered Chef way, they are super, super simple. There we go. Now, what I would suggest is that you leave it fairly lumpy. Okay, now that's not just because I'm lazy, but because what I find, in my experience, is that a lumpy batter will give you crispier tops to your Yorkshire puddings. So I'll just show you the batter. If you can hear hissing and spitting, it's just my potatoes boiling over. So there's your batter, okay, that you can see. Bring back in our muffin pan, and then into our muffin pan, simply going to pour the batter. I often get asked at my shows how much batter I'm putting in, as if there's some kind of science to my method. There really isn't. All I'm doing here is just distributing it as evenly as I can. I tend to end up with 2 or 3 really tiny ones and 2 or 3 enormous ones. If you are still married to your beef dripping, if you eat them and you feel like you miss the fat, which very, very few people do, especially if you're eating them, you know, with a dinner and gravy, what you can do is you just introduce your fat into the batter. It can be quite nice when your beef comes out to just add in a little teaspoon of the fat from there, and that will give you even super-sized Yorkshire puddings. So, once you've done that, all you need to do then is pop them into an oven. If you've got a nice hot oven, show you those. If you've got a nice hot oven, brilliant, they'll probably cook in about 15 to 20 minutes in a 220 oven. But if you've got something else in the oven going on, perhaps cauliflower cheese or something like that, no bother, no panic, just put them in a little bit earlier and cook them for a little bit longer. So what you need to do is check back and have a look at our video later on, because what you'll see is the finished results when they come out of the oven.